Hello, hello, hello. Hey, what's up, everybody? What's going on? What's going down? You're to everybody in the chat. What's going down? Vonda, Shardra, Neek, how's everybody doing? Shardra, Dame Frankie, what's going on? What's going on? Just ask Shar. Greetings, greetings, greetings to everyone. Everyone, greetings, greetings, greetings. All right. So today for this live stream, we're going to be talking about some updates to the COVID-19. Welcome to the 1/3, episode 2. For me, it's April 1st. For you guys, it's the last day of March. Hope everybody's being safe. Everybody's safe and doing everything that they can to stay safe. Stay indoors if you can. Please like and share the stream as you enter. And we'll be going over some things on the overview. We'll be talking about how. Oh, you got your account fixed? Oh, that's great. That's great. Um, we're going to be talking about your stimulus pack. What can you do to get it? What do you need to do to get it? Just going over that. All the links to everything is in the description below. So just go ahead and handle that. Like all the links in there is in the description below. So handle, you can check it out. I'll be sharing these articles, reading these articles, and running through every last one of these things very quickly, probably within the first quarter of the show, 30 minutes. I like to keep these like 90 minutes to 2 hours. Leave most of the time for the discussion panel so we can have people discuss things and talk about stuff if they want to come up. But the first 30 minutes is my rant. And usually it's not really a rant, but it's just to go over through the overview. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about government. We're going to talk about health a little bit. And we're going to talk about some entertainment, funny, stupid stuff, right? So hey, that's how I like to do things. Bring you the bylines of the news, the things that are actually reported, actually as factual as possible, with some satire in there, and like to give a lot of people into points on this. All right. So as y'all come in, please like and share the stream. Hi to everybody. I'm gonna jump down in the chat room real quick. And let everybody, say hi to everybody so I can at you, expeditiously, real quick. So let me jump down in here, like share. Okay. Good. Okay, who we got in here? And Vonda. Okay. Da, 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 da. Okay, Vonda. Okay. All right. Okay, so all of my mods, you have discretion as discretion is needed. If anybody's overly disrespectful, overtly disrespectful, one shot, one kill, block from the channel. I do not care. And we do not negotiate with terrorists, right? So I'm gonna give it a couple of more minutes of, what I'm saying, like maybe a minute or so, let people get into the chat. And if there's anything that you guys want to talk about for future, or y'all want to talk about like right now, and y'all got any questions or anything for me, let me know. And we'll figure, and we'll talk about a little bit, and then I'll just jump right into it. All right. So I'm gonna look at these comments and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad that y'all came through, showing the support. Thank you for liking, sharing the stream and everything like that. So shoot, before we jump in, it's like how's your day? Like how have y'all been coping with this self quarantine action? How y'all been coping with this self quarantine action? And what have y'all been doing, like, eating wise? Like, how have y'all been coping with this thing? Going down with this quarantining and getting around. How is the crew like Warframe? You going crazy, Neek? I'm like, do you got any hobbies that you could do indoors? Picking up anything? Like I need to go to work. Um, well, that's what we're going to discuss. Like, is it Vaughn? Is it furloughed? Is how is your job? If you don't mind me asking, and if you can discuss that, how is your job or how is that working? Neek, you barbecuing? So what you cooking? Is you barbecuing or we cooking out? Or we doing the old school, slow cooking method, or what are we barbecuing? I've been doing these hood meals, you know what I'm saying? I've been, making soups and making stuff in batches for a couple of days, lunch, dinner, lunch, dinner, lunch, you know what I'm saying? Malachi, working from home, going to improve myself with a new career path. Okay, okay, yeah, working from home is great. Like, yeah, like if you can do it, like it's getting that way. I think, and this is what I'll get into my aluminum hat or tinfoil hat moments about this and so forth. Um, we do yes, you do need the money. Hold on one second, guys, while I'm pulling up the stuff that I need to pull up. Said grilling turkey burgers, sausages. It was a crew said with the stimulus I'm getting paid almost like if I were working in extra game time, YouTube research time. Okay, crew, that's what you're doing. Okay, Vonda, originally there was no contract rule in order, but now they sent us an email asking if we would come back to work if they provide PPE. Depending on where you work, Vonda, is up to you to take the risks. Um, it's up to you. Everybody's financial situation is different. Hey, I was in the military. We took a lot of risks. So, hey, I can't really speak on it. If you can deal with not dealing, deal. But hey, the same thing, right? Yes, handmade turkey burgers. Okay. Jose, charred with the yummy. Okay. Yeah. Okay. we need to be over. Right again, Charles. Exactly, exactly. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm gonna jump right into this. People can come in. Thank y'all for coming through. We 8 minutes in, so I'm gonna start the clock. Okay. So what I'm gonna do right now, what I'm gonna do right now is application windows, tabs. Okay. All right. Let me know. Let me know in the chat if y'all can see this. Press a 1 in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Just want to make sure you guys can see this. Make sure you guys can see this in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys can see this in the chat. Hit a 1 for me. Cool, cool, cool. Good looking. All right. Is this banner a little bit, too big? I'm gonna take this banner down so y'all can see the full screen because y'all don't need to see all that, and so we can just pay attention to what's going on right here in the screen. So yeah, all right. So Corona virus stimulus checks. Here's who's eligible for the relief payment. Okay, I'm going straight down to what people want to know. Right? Do I qualify? Yahoo with these pop-ups, man. All right. So do I qualify for the coronavirus relief check, right? The amount of money you may receive as part of the stimulus package is based on your adjusted gross income. If you already filed your federal taxes for 2019, the deadline was extended to July 15th. Eligibility will be based on your AGI from the tax return. If you haven't filed yet, the IRS will rely on information from your 2018 return or the Social Security Administration to determine eligibility. Here's the bad news. Not everyone will qualify for a relief check. So this is very important that you notice, right? The maximum amount you can receive is $1,200. Now they said the maximum amount that you can receive is $1,200. It's not a straight $1,200. So a lot of people are, they're being clear on it, but they're not being explicitly clear. The maximum amount you can receive is $1,200. Or if you're married filing jointly, that's $2,400 per couple. So that's basically the maximum you can receive is $2,400 per couple. I don't know why, what's the criteria, the stipulations of how you can maximize that 1,200. Maybe I can find something. Maybe some of you can find something and y'all can post that or let us know what's going on with that. The amount phases out for single filers with an AGI between 75,000 and 99,000, joint filers with an AGI between 150,000 and 198,000, and heads of the household with an AGI between 112,000 to and 146,000. So $1,000. Well, a lot of us, this is what they're talking about. This is talking about the top 20%, and then we're getting up there in the top tens right here. So those who qualify for the 1,200 credit will also receive an additional 500 for each qualifying dependent 16 years old or younger. So if your child's over 16, you're not getting this $500 extra, right? That's very important that this is stated. Now, those include from receiving a coronavirus relief check include non-residential aliens, excluded. Non-residential aliens, taxpayers who can be claimed on someone else's returns as a dependent, and estates and trusts. Okay, so this is a tax credit. So basically, it goes off of your tax returns. So you got to pay taxes to get this. So it was already coming out the Treasury. So this is a stimulus pack, but it's your tax returns. So instead of going to H&R Block or filing your taxes through them, you getting that. So if you were supposed to get more, you probably won't get that because you're getting this money up front. So just be mindful of that. The stimulus money is technically a tax credit for 2020, and this is how the stimulus checks will be paid out in advance, right? As soon as possible. For the vast majority of Americans, no action on their part will be required in order to receive the rebate check, as the IRS will use the taxpayers' 2019 tax returns if filed, or in an alternative, their 2018 return, a summary of legislation says. All right, so all of this information is here. I'm going to stop right here. I'm not going to go through every single thing, but just read the synopsis of, I think, that would apply to you guys, and that you guys would want to know and have that information. So I'm gonna go through here. Y'all can read it, right? So I do heard it's retroactive to January. Yep. 2018 taxes. Yeah, is 2018 taxes if you haven't filed your 2019 taxes or anything like that. If you lost your job in like 2018 and you won't get something for 2019 and you're on unemployment, they'll work it that way. Let's see here. Yeah. So 1,200, all right. Income based. Yep, income based. Yeah. So who's this? Does the child who is over? They didn't say. I don't know. That's very vague, right? That's very vague, right? when we were growing up, you used to have a part-time job at 16 or something like that. But now the way the economy is working, young kids, young teenagers, barely hard for them to get part-time jobs because adults are actually taking over that area, working several jobs. Was this? Yeah, they will send it to direct deposits account from taxes. Yeah, they'll send it so you don't got to do nothing. It'll be there, but they don't tell you how can you maximize that 1,200. That's the key point right there. 17 and under. Did they change it, Chart? I'm just reading it all off of this, and I'll give you it's in the description. And this was this was put up. I guess the person that wrote this was Casey Bond, and this was March 26, 2020. That's when this article was put up. So things could have changed. They could have redid things. So this was going on 7 to 8 days ago. When this was going on. So just to let you know, just to put this into some perspective, you know what I'm saying? Just to put this in some perspective and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know how this works for people that's paying child support. They on back child support. They on this, they on that. Head of the household, does that still work? How does this, it's going to be a lot of things that's going to be shanky and wonky with this. But basically, if you usually file your taxes and you get more, right, you're only going to get that 1,200 to 500. So so anything else, they're not going to give it back just to give you that money right then and there to rush the process or whatever. So, you could do it as you way. No money if you got back child support. So you get no money if you got back child support. So if you ain't working, you got back child support, you still got to pay child support. And then if you missing those payments, they might haul you off to jail. You know what I'm saying? So that's that one. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next one. We're going to move on to the next one for this segment. We're going to move on to the next one, and the next one that we're going to move on to is hold on. Nope, that's not it. Where's it at? Okay. Let me see. Let me see. I wanted to get to this other one, but I cannot find my tab right now. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I found it. Okay. All right. So, the Rhode Island governor announces National Guard will go door to door to identify New Yorkers to slow COVID-19 spread. All right, so what we have in here is a lot of people from New York are going down to their summer houses down in Rhode Island and these other states, but these are small places and they don't want to risk the infection, right? So the Rhode Island governor, Gina Raimondo, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. I'm not good at pronunciations. I'm probably butchering this lady's name. But y'all can read it right here if y'all can see it, and I'm pretty sure you can. Announced during a press conference on Friday that the state would take drastic steps to pinpoint individuals who recently traveled to New York in an attempt to stem the spread of COVID-19, the disease caused by the novel coronavirus. Right now, we have pinpointed risk that we need to address, and we need to be very serious, and that the risk is called New York City, she said. Over the past week, New York has become the epicenter of the coronavirus crisis in the United States. As of Saturday afternoon Eastern Time, New York had at least 52,318 confirmed cases of COVID-19, according to a tracker by Johns Hopkins University. That's nearly half of at least 115,000 cases in the entire United States. In comparison, Rhode Island currently has at least 203 confirmed cases by the tracker. Right? So this is getting real serious, right? So I'm going to scroll down to here, and it says Texas, Maryland, South Carolina, and Florida have also ordered anyone coming from New York to self-quarantine for 2 weeks. On March 24th, President Donald Trump also requested anyone who has recently been in New York to self-quarantine for 14 days, although the guidance is not enforceable by law. Okay, so you can read this article in the description. You can read this article in the description, and what I'm basically looking at this. Um, what I'm basically looking at is that they're doing this. Yeah, what I'm basically looking at is with this is they're basically these states are going to start locking themselves down and actually putting up borders and stuff and checking people. Now you get into this thing where people brought these summer houses and stuff and they can't go to their homes, but then if they're based in New York, so how do you deal with that and how do you do it? And so just to be strictly honest with you, there's really nothing that you can really do about it at the end of the day, right? Like how should I say, these people, they need to, if they're trying to escape, but they're bringing the virus with them. What is it, like 14 to 28 days incubation period before you even see any signs? Some people don't have any symptoms at all, and then they just bam, they just get it, and it's like, everybody's immune system is different. And what it basically is, they might have to quarantine the whole state of New York. You know what I mean? Like it, people come in and out of New York. People live far. People commute all the way down from. I'm from Baltimore, so all the way down, I think, to Philly. They commute to work. Like they had a special about that. Like mothers commuting early in the morning on the bus to go to work in New York and living all the way like in Philly and Jersey and stuff like that. So people move around a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's not enforceable by law. I'm like, not yet, but that's where you do the workaround of martial law and quarantines and stuff when they do a state of emergency. Like each state can do a state of emergency. From what I heard, Michigan is doing a state of emergency like right now. They declared that a state of emergency and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, well, me too. So like if y'all want to, what I mean, I just wanted to touch on that. Now there's another one here where this is where people are trying to take the law into their own hands. And this is where we're getting a little bit out. That's when people are getting a little bit out of hand, right? So with this one, we're going to I'm gonna just touch on this real quick. Maine sheriff investigating claim that armed men cut down a tree to force neighbors quarantine. So police in Maine are investigating an alleged incident in which armed residents used a tree to block a man's driveway in order to quarantine him and his roommates from the coronavirus. The man who was renting the house in the town of Venahaven in Fox Islands left the house to check on a severed cable line Friday afternoon and discovered that the tree was blocking his path. Several people with guns allegedly approached the resident and yelled at him, according to the sheriff's office. The man ran back into the home, and he and his roommate used a VHF radio, their own means of communication, to contact authorities. Wow. Several law enforcement entities arrived to the area and found the felled tree but no group of people. The sheriff's office said on Facebook post, it is apparent that the tree had been cut down and dragged into the roadway to block it. The town has an order that mandates that anyone came into the island recently had to self-isolate. However, the man said that he and his two roommates arrived last month before the cutoff point for the order. The sheriff's office said they believe that the tree was an attempt to block the exit of those from out of state from leaving the house, and that they will continue to investigate. Whether someone is a Maine resident or not, they have the right to free movement, and anyone who infringes upon that movement is potentially violating the law. All right, so we are laughing at this. In a way, we're laughing at this. But I'm going to say this. This is when people are taking the law and this is where the people are taking the law and, you know what I'm saying, um into their own hands. You know what I mean? This is crazy. You know what I mean? People, armed men rolling up to the house, cutting down trees, dragging them in front of people's property to lock them in their own houses. Kind of sounds like armed men rolling up with hoods, burning crosses in lawns. Kind of sounds like that to me. I'm just going to put that out there, right? You know what I mean? Like armed men rolling up doing this. This is crazy. Now these stories are in the news, but they're not in the main ticker. People are already doing this, and these are on these little outskirt towns that feel like they're safe and stuff like that. And they're going to be, you know what I mean, like they're going to be the George Zimmermans. Like, what if they came out the house and these dudes start firing on them or something like that, right? You know what I'm saying? Exactly. I'm glad they didn't try to burn the house. Exactly. Exactly. That right there is this is the stuff that I'm talking about that are in these bylines and stuff like that. Um, this is ridiculous. This is really, really, really ridiculous. And something needs to be done about it. You know, they're already getting out of hand, and you can tell this is a place that you get to by like boat or something like that, or something like that. Hey, DJ Music was good. Thank you for coming through. Thank you very much for coming through. Um, yeah, so I'm going to move on to the next one. I'm going to move on to the next one very expeditiously, and we're going to get into the next portion of this real quick. And I'm just doing an overview of everything, so everybody knows, you know, what's going on and stuff. And this is like the healthcare section of this that I like to talk about. So I like to hit government, healthcare, some entertainment, and some satire. So we're almost through this opening rant or salvo that I like to call it, and so forth. All right, so moving on to the next one. Okay, this is really sad, so I'm gonna share this. This is really sad, so I'm gonna share this. Hold on, I gotta refresh the page. If this refreshes, man, they got ads and stuff. Okay, so the emotional toll the coronavirus on healthcare workers was captured in a heartbreaking video recorded by Saudi Arabia recently, showing a nurse having to refuse a hug from his little son after returning from work. In the video, Nasir Ali Ala Sharani, I hope I'm saying this the right way. I hope I'm saying this the right way. So I'm gonna show you guys this right here. If you guys can see it. Right. He can't hug his son because he just came from the hospital. He don't want his son to get it. Now, you know, you said no matter what, we should never let our emotions prevail in order to preserve the safety of our children and to limit the spread of this epidemic. Hope that by sharing this video, he can touch the hearts of people who do not follow coronavirus lockdown rules or as a precaution, such as avoiding shaking hands. The World Health Organization says Saudi Arabia has reported 1,000 cases of COVID-19 by March 26, with 3 deaths. And this is a story. Now, this is sad. A lot of healthcare workers got to go through this. Now, I'm not going to discount what this man has to go through, or, you know, if this is actually plausible or reasonable. You know what I'm saying? Um, you know what I'm saying? If it's plausible or reasonable, or if this is propaganda, or if it was set up. But there's a lot of people that are nurses, healthcare providers, workers, things of that nature. And they're going through this, and they got to quarantine themselves. stay away from things and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So this is like, you know, I mean, it is, you know, it is what it is. You know, and we gotta, you know, there, you know, what I mean, you know, we talk about, you know, backing the troops and when they go to war, but you know, our healthcare professionals, they're at war every day with diseases, and they're really up against the wall here because this stuff is just spreading and it's just ridiculous. And is just apparent. I'm going to move on to the next one real quick in this healthcare segment. Um, because you know, I mean, this COVID-19 thing is really putting our healthcare thing um, uh, in a pickle, and we're trying, you know, what I'm saying, we're trying to deal with this. You know, here's the next one. Heartbreaking. Moms can be separated from their newborns under coronavirus guidelines. Okay. Pregnant women who became infected with the new coronavirus. Let me click this down. Coronavirus or are exposed to the illness in cases face more distressing news, possible separation from their newborn for up to a week or more. This recommendation of the U.S. Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, and American College of Obstetricians and Gynecology to stop the potential spread of the virus from mother to child. There was a case in England where a pregnant mother and her newborn caught the virus at the same time. They had to be separated. I read that maybe a couple of weeks ago or something like that. So, transmission of the coronavirus from mother to the newborn after birth through infectious respiratory droplets is a concern. So, the time that, you know, mothers carry their children, I'm not going to keep reading the whole thing because you know, I mean, I want to speed this up, but the article is in the description if you want to check it to your leisure. But you have to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? You have to understand that that is the most intricate point when a woman has birth and she can hold the baby can hear her heartbeat, it soothes the baby. So that's separation of the mother. You know, like the only time you see when they take the newborn away from the mom, um, you know what I mean, is when it's an adoption, where the mother or the mother's carrying the baby and then she's being I guess, a surrogate mother, and they immediately take the baby away from the mother and separate them and stuff like that. So the baby doesn't get attached or get imprinted, even though she carried the baby for 9 months. So this can lead to a lot of anxiety. This can lead to a lot of other things. This can mess up, you know, estrogen levels. This can do, you know, it can play on the psyche of both the child and the mother. And this virus is actually attacking a lot of things. Yeah, they don't know if it's in the womb. They don't know if they got it outside. They don't know if the mom has it and then it comes through. So it's just really, it's just messed up. It's a lot of messed up stuff. And it's a lot of things that are going down that we need to understand. And these are the things that they're not really talking about that affect a lot of people. And when I saw this article and just reading through, I was like, man, this is, you know, something that needs to be discussed and brought about. So that's on that. I'm gonna move on to my next thing, and this is kind of like relationships, lifestyles, and stuff like that, and then we'll finish it off. And then if people want to come on the panel, the links are placed in the usual place. If y'all want to come up here and you know, give you a sense on what I'm talking about. If not, I'll, you know, do my thing and then we'll end the stream and go about our little way. But here we go. Let's see. So on a lighter note, because of this virus, here we go. Okay, apparently everyone's buying lingerie right now. Now, if there is one thing Instagram has proven over the last few weeks, It's that we all master chefs and bakers with more time on our hands. It's only natural we're seeing an uptick in these activity things people have been meaning to get into and try, but haven't had time for. Whether it's cooking, 3-course meals, or baking bread, while Instagram has been a great indicator of what's been up to in the kitchen, online searches and shining light on people are getting into and when they're not posting. Shopping Agitator is unveiling a real-time stay-at-home searches just so novel coronavirus influences. Okay, so right, so this right here is people are buying a lot of they're getting a lot of actual lingerie. Lingerie is selling. Then I remember Victoria's Secret was talking about closing, a lot of other things. And people are buying this, like they're buying it up, right? And they're going through here. I'm not going to show everything, but they're going through here and they're getting as major stock is going up with this. We all know why, because people got to be in the house together, right? They actually got to spend time together, and birth rates were low. You know what I'm saying? Birth rates were low, right? Yeah, I know, right? You know, it's been toilet paper and everything else, but people buying lingerie, right? They gotta do the thing. They gotta do the thing, right? So, you know, they gotta do the thing. So people been getting it on. They gotta be in the house, they gotta be locked in together. So people going people people got to do it. Hey, that's other people's problems, right? We learn about eating, right? You know what I'm saying? Sure, yeah, take it off, save money. Exactly. You look, it's gonna come off either way, and you ain't gonna see it in the dark. So I don't know what people doing, but hey, they got to make them babies, right? Birth rates are actually low in the United States and across the world. So this they're gonna have to. A lot of people are leaving and checking out of here, so they're gonna have to do it. We'll have to do it. He said, in my area, the domestic, yeah, because people ain't used to being with each other and in and out the house, so they got to be home and they got to deal with each other. So it's getting crazy. The stocking up on shea butter and lavender. Yeah, hey. Now I'm going to go into this next one, right? And this is the sale of of bidets, butt washing toilets. I'm not going to show the article. I don't think it's needed to be shown um, with the article and stuff like that, but it's in the description below. Um, but hey, if you got one, you don't got to buy all that toilet paper, right? You ain't got to fight somebody for some toilet paper. But the thing that I wanted to show is this. And this is where I'm gonna name this. I'm gonna name this karma, right? I'm gonna find an article about some karma. An influencer who licked a toilet seat says he is in the hospital with the coronavirus. This is a picture of this fool licking the toilet seat, right? Gay Sean Mendez. Gay Sean Mendez. Think I'm gonna say who mans is this? I think it's gonna be called who mans is this. So can I get in the chat who mans is this? Can we get a hashtag who mans is this? Yes, exactly. Who mans is this? Who mans is this? Right? Look at this. Hold on, let me just bring it back. Who mans is this? Gay Sean Mendez. Who mans is this? Look, let's. Can I zoom in? Yeah, I'm gonna zoom in. This is the face of a man that just licked a toilet. And look where he at. Right? Yes. The next time I hear one of these Zennials or Generation Z people say okay boomer or whatever they got to say, we don't go around licking public toilets. Matter of fact, I don't even like using public toilets unless I get to use a urinal. I'm not going to read this article. Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. I got to read this article. Hold on. All right. So hold on. An influencer who goes by Larry says he's in the hospital after contracting the coronavirus. He took part in the bizarre coronavirus challenge of licking toilet seat just a few days ago. His tweet, I posted, I, I tested positive for the coronavirus for, for his now deactivated Twitter account. The social media influencer Lars told his followers he was in the hospital after catching the coronavirus. The news came just a few days after he filmed himself licking a toilet seat in a public bathroom as part of a bizarre coronavirus challenge. The 21-year-old from California tweeted, "I tested positive for coronavirus." He also uploaded a video to Instagram account that appears to show him lying in a hospital bed and doped up on medication. His Instagram page is full of badly edited photographs of him hanging out with celebrities, so his claims should be taken with a pinch of salt. Okay. The challenge started as an obvious ploy for attention from a TikTok Instagram influencer, Ava Louise. She filmed herself licking an airplane toilet seat. I remember that one. Adding the caption, "Please retweet this so people can know how to properly be sanitary on an airplane." She told Insider she did it for clout because she didn't want the coronavirus getting more attention than her. She added that hot blondes could recover from anything, so it's no harm. All right, okay. My head hurt, my brain hurt, my soul hurt from even oh God. Like this is man, I'm telling you. Exactly, Nick. Exactly. Hold on one second. Exactly. Exactly. Who mans is this? Who mans is this? Thank you. Who mans is this? Thank you. Thank you very much. Who people? Thank you, Dave. This is if he licked the damn toilet seat, then what else? Hey. His mom should be proud. See, this is when you say you ain't got no home training, right? Yes, he has several viruses. Oh man, who mans is this? This is just crazy. This is just outstanding. It doesn't even exactly. It looked like the toilet. It do look like the toilet in the hospital. That's what I think it was, right? But where did they get it from? Was the stupid person like? Listen, I think you need to be qualified to be online. Sometimes you need to take a test. It's getting more attention than me. A matter of life and death. Yes. See, this is the problem where we're so advanced that natural selection just don't work. I don't mean that people should die or something, but it is what it is. Why people would put their mouth? They mouth. I don't even say mouth. I say mouth, right? So this is when I'll open up the panel. If y'all want to ask any questions or anything about anything, we could just rattle off some stuff or whatever. But if y'all want to come up, say a few words or anything like that, y'all are free. Y'all are free to do so. This is like open panel time. If y'all want to bring up something that I don't know about, you know what I'm saying, that I don't know about or that you would like to share, or how this virus is affecting you or something like that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Fill the battery. Y'all tripping. Yeah. Oh man, y'all tripping. So yeah, it is what it is. Oh my God. It's just funny how everything is just is showing people's, a lot of it is showing people's ingenuity. You know what I mean? And I haven't found anything ingenuity wise where people are dealing with whatever they need to deal with, and how they're getting through it. How people are doing whatever they need to do. But at the same time, we as a people, we have to look out for this, and we can't, like, I think we cannot panic at the same time, right? We can't panic. But we also got to be vigilant, and when we need our community, and this is what happened when you let the internet raise your kids, when you're too busy to raise your kids. You know what I'm saying? When you're too busy to raise your kids. So what I'm gonna do is um I'm going to put the link in the prospective places, so people can come up, say their words, if they would like to. Those of you that are in the chat, I actually inboxed to you in the back cave, in the back chats, directly. So for those of you, it's there already. And you can join if you would like, and or not. If you don't want to join, you can ask some questions from the chat. You can. He forgot. Forgot what? What's up? Are you in the chat? Are you in the back chat there? Okay. Are you in the back chat, Malika? Oh, I didn't forget. Are you in the back chat? Are you in the servers? Are you in the server? Let me know if you're in the server or not. If you're in the Ebony Star Network server. No dice, you ain't in the back chat. You ain't in the Zach. Love Shaja. All right, one time. If you want to come up, I'll. If you want to come up,
Malik, don't let Shadra up here. He gonna fuck up the stream, dog. He gonna fuck up the stream.
Well, I was gonna talk serious shit about that money that we ain't got.
Oh yeah, the money that
as black people.
Malik, if you want to come up here, sure, no problem. Just put a 1 in the chat, and then I'll drop the link. I'll drop the link for you in the chat. I normally don't do it, but I'll do it this one time. Join one of the servers. Okay, man, if you might be lagging, yeah, man, if you want to come up, just drop a 1. I'll drop the link one time in the chat, and once you hit the link, I'll delete it out the chat. I normally don't put my link in the chat because I don't want people coming up here that I don't want up here. Just being real. If you in the server, then you can come up here because you're a trusted official.
Yeah. Drop it in a shower. Drop it to whoever needs to get it.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Go ahead and drop it to her, and once she get up here, I'll bring it in, and then you can go ahead and delete that. But yeah, well, that's my policy. You got to be in the Discord server, the trusted official, to come on my panels.
Hey, hold on. It might be some people that's recording the whole shit. Wait a second.
I don't care. They can record it.
No, they'd be recording our GS13.
Oh, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, how's everybody doing this evening? This lovely evening.
I'm great this evening. How's everybody else doing? How you doing, crew? How you doing, Cristiano?
Hey, look! I had a Vietnamese motherfucker over here yesterday. He was like, hey, crew, your computer is okay. He was playing with the PlayStation. No, this motherfucker was playing the games with the mouse and the goddamn keyboard, like a real gamer. I said, "Oh shit!" He said, "Yeah, I ain't got the COVID-19." I said, "Oh shit!" If you don't go down the hallway,
yeah. So here's what's gonna happen, right? A lot of people are gonna take that money thinking it's free money because okay, I got bills to pay. But what most people don't realize is basically an advance on your taxes.
Yep.
So your taxes next year, you ain't gonna have that same money. And
Yeah.
if you ain't paying attention, you might be thinking you're getting a refund next year, and you might not have a refund. You might owe money.
I would disagree, right? Because when Obama gave that, and when George Bush gave that, right? George Bush gave that, and then Obama got in office, and he gave another one, right? My taxes never got affected.
Yeah, but this one they specifically said it's going to come out of your taxes. It's like a tax advance. It's a stimulus package, but it's a tax advance.
Well, they better tax advance the goddamn Walmart and Amazon shit. If y'all gonna tax the fuck out of me, giving me $1,200 in advance. Like my refund usually is like 3,700, 4,000.
Yeah, so your refund's gonna be 2,500 next year.
Yeah, nah. Y'all better be doing the same 50% for the goddamn corporations. Walmart and Amazon better have the same stipulations. You know what I mean?
Now she let's welcome the sister to the panel. How do you pronounce your name? Because I'm not good at pronunciations. Once somebody tells me their name, then I'll remember it.
It's Malika.
Malika.
Okay.
Welcome to
Malika.
No, Chandra. She said it how she. You said it wrong. Say it again, sister, please.
Mill, like the mill.
Mill.
Malika. Okay.
Well, all right. So, what do you think about this? Let's get the sister the floor because I've been running my mouth and we've been up here chattering. Like we can bounce around because I got so many subjects up here, but we can bounce around. Like, what do you think about any of what we talked about, or what you want to talk about, or what we don't know about?
So I actually I have my LVN. I'm not practicing. They're asking me to practice. So my curiosity when it comes to the womb is whether or not the virus actually affects the womb. I think that's important to know. Because if it's not, of course, we need to know why it's not. And if it is, then that gives us a better perspective also how the virus is traveling throughout the body. So when it comes to pregnancy, you guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. We know that. Yeah.
So
remember health class.
Yeah, so in the womb, I think that's important to know. So that sparked my curiosity right there because if it's not affecting the baby until the baby comes out, what can we do to protect the babies, the Black babies, when they come out? I don't care about anybody else.
Well, one of the things that they've said about coronavirus is it is a retrovirus similar to HIV, which means RNA stranded virus. You're familiar with that, which means potentially giving the mother antiretrovirals may help in preventing the transmission from mother to child in utero. However, the virus is so new that there hasn't been enough testing to be able to prove anything.
That should be a priority.
Hey, but Chandra, how about this though? They said the virus is new, but it's not new.
Yeah, well, they say that the virus is new in terms of science, right? New in terms of science, in terms of whether or not we've seen it in modern science, but it's not been people who've encountered it who have a resistance to it genetically.
All right,
and also that it's possibly airborne.
You remember OGJ Speed, right? You know OGJ Speed?
Not familiar with him.
He's one of these YouTubers, but he's like an old DJ, right? He's older than a lot of these black Gnostics and shit. But he said, man, they had this shit back in the 60s. Do you remember when Shar, I see you're up here, peace sis. Do you remember OG said that? Or do you remember any of that?
I
Hey,
am
what's
not
up,
familiar with him at
everybody?
all.
Yeah, yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
OGJ OGJ Speed 60, but he said back in the 60s or the 70s, right? They had this coronavirus, the same thing, and it was going on in the South.
Oh, if that is the case, I'm not sure it's COVID-19 because this is a novel coronavirus where they say novel meaning that coronaviruses, 18 other types of coronaviruses that affect human beings that cause like basically a cold or flu-like symptoms. But
Yeah, yeah,
this is
Novel
19.
means new.
that's what I'm saying, Shadra. That's what I'm saying. Like I really agree with you. You know I fuck with you. I'm saying I really agree with you. I'm saying they had this shit back in the 70s though, and they were trying to pull the same bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And niggas didn't die. And just like we're not dying now. Who's dying? It's not us. You know what
Well, greetings to everyone on the panel. And
green.
Greetings, Char.
I was
Greetings.
wondering, greetings. I was
Mhm.
wondering about the virus because
Hey,
isn't
sorry,
a
you know I
virus
don't like you. Hey,
something?
I
Be
have to
quiet,
interrupt
crew.
you.
I can't hear
No,
you.
I gotta
I don't
interrupt you.
hear
You
you.
know I
I
don't
don't
like you.
hear you. I don't hear you. If it's a virus, isn't it contagious? And if so, what's
Right.
going on when it comes down to the thing with
Yeah,
the baby? I'm confused with that.
yeah. Before y'all go into this, I'm gonna say this right now. Um, yeah, nobody. This is not a problem with anybody. And I'm gonna say I did it. Why I did it. I kicked crew. Nobody's gonna overtalk anybody on the panel, or cut anybody off. Let everybody get their parts out. Let them say whatever they have to say, because this is not an argumentative place. Sorry about that. I kicked crew. I did it. That was me. It's my panel. We don't do that over here. Sorry. Continue.
Okay, I was I tease them anyway. I just said be quiet, crew. But seriously, I wanted to know as far as a virus, because isn't that something that's contagious? And wouldn't it be something that would be passed through to the child?
Well, one of the things that happens in the process of childbirth is after a certain point, the child starts producing its own blood, right? So that's why if the mother is type A and the child is type B, after a certain point, that mother starts developing antibodies to type B blood and starts rejecting the child, right? Because the child starts
Hmm.
producing its own blood. So after a certain point in the gestation, the child basically has its own circulatory system, its own thing. It may be connected to the mother, but certain things don't pass after a certain point. Now, let's say the mother had coronavirus in the first trimester or the second trimester, that child would most likely be infected, right? Along with the mother. But the mother's immune system would be taking care of that. But in that last trimester, that child starts developing their own blood cells, their own immune system. And at that point, if the mother gets infected in those last points, it's possible that it doesn't transfer to the child.
Okay.
The child would be ready to descend, so on its own. It'll be its own form at that point. You understand that?
Okay, I understand. Thank you so much for you guys explaining that. I
No
appreciate it.
problem.
Yeah. Well, we have Nick here.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey,
Greetings,
what's
greetings.
going on? Greetings, greetings, greetings.
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 So, hi, how you doing, Malika? Nice to speak to you. Nice to see you in the chat. I hope you come through more often.
Thank you. Now that my account's fixed, I will.
Yeah, so the whole thing I wanted to speak about as it relates to this whole coronavirus situation, because as some of you know, some of you may not, but I'm in New York. So
Mm,
I'm not in the city, I'm upstate, but I still have family in the city. And New York City is terrible. It's like a
mm,
war. Like the hospitals are over capacity. They have makeshift triage centers set up all over the city. So they took one of the convention centers. It's the Jacob Javits. Now this is a huge ass place. This is basically like a concert hall.
Yeah.
They made that into a temporary emergency triage. They
Mhm.
brought in a naval ship into Manhattan to use as an emergency triage. They set up tents in Central Park. They got tents outside of the hospitals. The people are dying at such a rapid rate that they can't get them out of the morgue to make space for new dead bodies. So they have people in refrigerated trucks in the tractor trailers
Ooh. They got
to
put the
hold their
body.
bodies.
It is, and it's a lot of people that's going to get. A lot of people that's going to get. They're going to get cremated.
Right. They're gonna
Yeah,
have to cremate them.
yeah, because it's going to be like the funeral home's going to be overloaded. Like they ain't
Yeah,
enough
they don't,
work.
it's not enough. There's not enough people to process them now. They have actually started contacting hospitals upstate to try to transfer people
Hmm.
to lighten the load downstate, and upstate is like no. Um, One, they don't want the risk, but they don't have the capacity. Like these hospitals up here, like you wouldn't believe it, but they are almost like they're second rate hospitals. They're almost like third world country hospitals. They might look nice, but
They ain't real.
look like yeah, the technology is lacking. A lot of the equipment they have is old. Like they're not up to date at all. So they don't have the equipment or capacity to deal with this type of situation. So they're denying them from like taking the patients up here because we have some people that have tested positive. We had one old lady that died, but our numbers are way down. One because we're more spread out,
Yeah.
not
You know,
all on top of each other like in the city.
now I got a question for everybody on the panel. Right? The 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 price of healthcare premiums and all of that stuff, right? Like the you would think as much as they're charging for healthcare, you would think that they would actually be up to date, but they just squandering the money or keeping it in their pockets. So this is basically bringing them, because I think there's going to be a lot of changes with this healthcare system.
Right. No, what actually happens up here, especially in my area, like we have the hospital network is called Bassett Healthcare, right? And we
Mhm,
have all these little clinics and hospitals that's attached to Bassett.
mhm,
Now, they are in partnership with Columbia University, so they send a lot of their med students up here to work in these hospitals.
mhm.
And then after they graduate, they pay these people so much money to stay up here because they have to bring in doctors. You're not producing too many doctors in this area, and
Ooh,
we don't have like top-notch medical schools around here. So
well,
they
the biggest problem is the cost of medical school, and then most of the
right,
doctors that I've seen, they're from like other countries, like India or or like
exactly.
or Europe somewhere. Yeah, they gotta take a couple of classes and get state board certified, and then they can just go straight to work.
Right,
Um,
exactly. And that's what happens. And they come up here, but they to incentivize them to not go back to the city, they
mhm,
pay them like we're in the city. And
yeah,
like our economy up here is not the same as New York City. Like it's
mhm,
probably half of what it is to live in New York City. So they're paying them this money and they only stay for a couple years and then they leave with all that money.
yeah. Or they go open up with a private practice like somewhere else, like in Florida, where the retirees.
Right,
Right, right. So I'm
right.
like, in y'all city, like, how is it looking? 'Cause, New York is like a. I'm just going to say this before we go into that. For the numbers that they're putting out, and I know it's probably way worse, right? But for the congestion of New York City, um, and for everything else that's going on, I would think the numbers would be way worse. Like, you know, I know, like, anytime they report some numbers, add, like, if they talk about 100,000, add about 200,000.
Right, right. Because what they're doing also, another thing I wanted to talk about is how they are waiting until people have like extreme symptoms. So if you go in there with pretty mild symptoms, but you're like, this is not normal for me, like maybe you have allergies, but you having some allergy symptoms that just might be a little worse than a normal allergy season, and you go in, they're sending those people home. And then what happens is their condition worsens and then they go back. So
Mhm.
you're sending people that are positive back home because their symptoms are not extreme enough for you to waste the test on them because they're saying they have limited amount of tests to test people.
Yeah.
So we had a whole bunch of people that went to the doctor to see if they had the virus, and they were sent home just to later found out that they were actually positive. So how long were they walking around infecting other people?
Okay. Um. See, like, anybody else want to weigh in, or about this, like, how is it affecting you guys where you at? Because Neek is saying she's in New York. That's just, I heard, was it New York and California is getting hit the worst? Like,
Yeah, I've heard a couple of things about New York, but I didn't get a chance to follow up with the rest of the details. But I heard it was really bad. And now here in Chicago, we haven't seen anything that was too crazy. Now last week they did have to say, "Hey, you guys are coming out to the parks and stuff. I know you're bored and all that. You're walking your dog." And they just had to kind of tell the palm colored people to, stay back. So they brought the police out. They put up some barriers around the park entrance, and so they're pretty cool now. But right now it seems to be okay. There's food and all that kind of stuff in the stores. They are allowing the seniors to shop first, like the first few hours of the store opening, and they're urging everyone to get delivery if they can, which kind of points to whatever's going on with this new strike with some of the companies, Amazon and another company. I can't think of who it was, but that's what's kind of going on now.
mm, mm-mm. Anybody else? Anybody else want to?
Yeah, so it's the same here in California, pretty much. With the deliveries, you have to pretty much. I mean, somebody else is cooking your food if you decide to do a delivery. It's tempting, but yeah. Even when you're getting groceries delivered, you have to leave the bags outside for 24 hours. Anything that is to be refrigerated, you can wipe that down. Eggs, you don't have to worry about. You can crack the shell. But while you're prepping it, of course, sanitation. I mean, Black people know sanitation. I mean,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous that we're even talking about this.
Well, I'm
Because
like,
Black,
this newer
I mean,
generation.
most Black people.
Yeah. Well, you got to say like this, right? The older generation, like, I mean, we know, but this newer generation, a lot of them don't cook, right? And
That's true.
what I mean? And so they don't know. Like, they don't know that, you gotta wipe down the counter, or you gotta like use hot soapy water, or like some diluted bleach in a solution to get the germs
Mm.
off. You need a separate
Nah.
chopping board for like your chicken and your beef and your vegetables, and you got to have a different, like, a lot of these this younger generation, they don't know. They just don't. Like, it's this weird thing. Like, me and Shar was talking about this, about like, anybody born after 95, they don't know, because all the
I
common sense.
beg to differ.
Well, well, what I mean, like, a lot of them, what I mean, that, if you put it into that spectrum, a lot of them, a lot of convenience was like thrust upon them, not by their own admission and on their fault. It's not that they don't want to know. One thing about this
Mhm.
younger generation, they want to know. They look for knowledge at all costs, right? They will challenge you with a Google search or Wikipedia thing really quickly, right? Whether that's right or wrong, they will challenge you, but at the same time, um, it's certain things that they should already know, and that's actually taught. I say by the grandparents, actually, right? Because when I was growing up, we started going to that dual household of both parents working or busy, and then grandma would raise you like she was the baby.
I'm a single mom.
Yeah.
So I can speak from experience. My two girls who are here, I properly train them. They know I will give them the eye, and they know what that means. Point blank, period. And they're, they're past the 2000. So it does just depend. It depends on what people's values are. I do agree with that.
Yeah, because a lot of these, and who said they class what 2000?
No, not class of 2000. They're
Born
2000 babies.
2000 babies.
Beyond.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you the exact year, but
Yeah. So they're like they're in that in that 2000 era, like my kids are in the mid 90s and a little bit early 2000. So they know, but at the same time, there's certain things
they
because
get lazy.
but because they had grandparents, they could go to the grandparents and then they'll be there for the summer, right? So I call it minimalist living when you go stay with the grandparents for the summer, because they don't got all the odds and ends that you have like in your house, with your kids, because you always want your kids to live better than you. So there's going to be some spoilage there, right? Like how we call it. But when they go with the grandparents for the summer, they have to help. You know what I mean? They have to do things. And their grandparents live in the country, right? So everything's they got to get places and do stuff, and they get to learn things. Sometimes they got to sit there, because it'll be raining outside. They have thunderstorms. They have a rolling blackout, so they got to sit there. The TV ain't working. They got to play board games.
That's back in the day. That's back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day. And this is the other thing where this is we're talking about the bad parts of this virus, but I wanted to just with this panel kind of go to the good parts of how people going to have to deal with each other. Like this is family time almost, and I see a lot of people doing that. Hold on one second. Let's get a shout out to the Ebony Star Network. What's going on, Max? How you doing, brother? Welcome. Thank you for coming through. But I want to know, and even in the chat, if you guys want to put anything up there and I get the floor to y'all, I want to know what are y'all doing to pass the boredom in something positive?
Great regime gaming.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Great regime gaming. Yeah, buddy. Everybody else, what are you picking up any hobbies or catching up on anything that you wanted to, do or try? Because of because of what's going on with this, with this virus and stuff like that. Because I think this is important, especially for your mental health, and
Yeah, I'm just doing. I just started doing some reading, but I'm also doing some purging. Just go through the closets, see what you need, don't need, get rid of that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I say myself, I've been doing the same thing. I've been doing some reading, catching up on stuff. This is usually the time of year where I get on my vlogs. I go out because it's like cherry blossom season, spring. You go out, everybody's out. Perfect for, vlogging and doing whatever and creating as a content creator with film and stuff. But I got to be in the house. So I just practice film techniques and, doing paperwork and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the important thing right now is to remember that you gotta stay active. You can't just let the quarantine be the thing that is.
Mm. Mm.
because you got to be able to live life even if you're not running out and grabbing everything that you can. You're not able to do all the things you used to be able to do, but there's still a lot you can do. And in today's world, there's so many things, Netflix, you name it, that comes directly to you that realistically your quality of life shouldn't change that much, minus the fact that you can't go to work right now.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Because quality of life, man, is this is. Oh, okay. Malachi, you absolutely left. Somebody drop her the link real quick. For the panel. Crew, no, I use Final Cut. One time payment, got the whole thing. Eventually resolved with the nodes. That's too much of a learning curve for me. I've been using Final Cut for like years, so it's easy. Final Cut is our movie on steroids. That's basically what it is. Our movie on steroids. Neek, anything you've been working on or doing? Or?
Well, excuse me. We started a book club in the eNation server, so we started reading the ISIS papers.
Oh, okay.
Great work by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing.
Absolutely. And I've been doing dance classes with my daughters because my youngest daughter does dance. She does all kinds of dance: tap, jazz, ballet, contemporary, lyrical, hip hop, acro.
You know the one thing that I did, I noticed a lot of people was talking about this homeschooling thing, right? Like I see a lot of people talking about it, but now you have a chance to actually do it.
Right. Well, my kids were already homeschooled before this thing happened, so that wasn't an issue for me. But my daughter normally goes to dance 5 to 6 days a week. So now having her home, she has to do dance classes in the house. So I got to do her dance classes with her to make sure she's doing her corrections. And then my oldest daughter is doing it with us. So that's what we've been doing, dancing.
Now, see that right there is, that right there, it shows like family unity and bringing people together, but it also shows because you have your children homeschool, but when you there with your family, and you got your kids, like a lot of I've seen it on Facebook, a lot of these parents is like, oh man, when these kids going back to school, right? And I made a post today, because what I like to do is when I see stuff, I like to make posts on social media to be funny, right? To bring tell the truth, but in some comedy. So I make sure I use the little background, the little laughy emojis. So nobody get it twisted and they don't get any fifis because and at some point I don't really care. But and I said, for all of you parents, for all of you parents that have your kids home, now you see what these teachers go through with these bad kids, right? And it's only to the parents that know their kids are bad.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
No, I said badass kids, but they know their kids is bad because the only ones that's complaining about sending their kids back to school like that, you know what I mean? Like over and over again. Now, I did have a little complaint because my son just eats. And I didn't realize how much he eats until we was in the house together, right? And I was like, dude, you're eating 3 to 4 or 5 people. What are you doing? Like, I'm saying this in my head, but like, and then I started thinking, man, did I eat like that? Like when I started thinking, but it made sense. He's eating because he's bored. He can't go out and do anything, right? And he's used to being in school and moving around. You know what I mean? Like he's because he's used to that, and he's stuck in the house and stuff like that. But at the same time, I think this is a perfect time for families to come together and understand something. The one thing that I wanted to approach on is how do you think the dynamic is going to be between the household? You know what I mean? Because I'm starting to hear a lot of women that are married saying that if the economy was back when it was, they would rather be home to make sure the kids go to school and raise them right if it's possible.
I mean, it does give people a chance to see the difference and see how much, like, for instance, when I first started doing homeschool, like, I was just two, because my oldest two children went to school. Like, my son actually went all the way through high school and graduated, my oldest son. And my daughter went to the ninth grade. But when my younger children went to school, I was like, no, I can't. Like, I can't deal with the school system at all. So when I decided to pull them out, I was like stressed out. Like, oh my God, I got to find something to do with them all day. Like, in my head, I had to structure homeschool like regular school.
Yeah.
And no, you don't. So once you figure that part out, it's like, man, it's a lot easier and it's a lot more simple than people think it really is. And they learn a lot more because you go at their pace. I don't have to make them sit there because, they got to be out at 3:00. I don't have to make them sit there and do stuff when they're tired or when they're, just not in the mood. I could do it when their mind is fresh and ready and willing to accept the information. Like, they know they got to do it. So I just let them do it at their pace. And they learn a lot more and they get a lot more done.
Exactly. Anybody else want to weigh in? We need to have a conversation back and forth. I want to get everybody else involved. If y'all want to talk about the homeschooling thing or how is it affecting you in the house?
I'll talk about it. So my kids started off homeschooling. And that was my son. He started off rough in public school, so I pulled him out. To make a long story short, my girls for most of their lives did homeschooling. And I finally said, okay, once my oldest daughter got into the 8th grade, I said, okay, let me try public school again. Well, she's very independent. She's doing independent studies now. She's ahead of her class. But my youngest daughter is different because she started so young in public school. I'm seeing a disadvantage, but she also has a different personality. So I am struggling with her when it comes to education. She's more of a performer. She's more of a, I had her in the arts because I seen it, as soon as she was able to talk and move around, you could just tell. But I also, I want her to get a sturdy foundation on something solid before doing any of that stuff.
Oh, okay. I can see that. Like, having kids and stuff like that, you realize, and that's the good thing about, a parent actually paying attention to their children and not trying to put them in a cookie cutter situation. Each child is different and they have their different strengths and weaknesses and their learning curves and the attention that they need. I got 3 boys, but 2 of them are already grown and one's a teenager, and they're different in what they do and who they are. But at the same time, it, like you said, it's a learning curve for one because it's more of an artist. The other one's more of a savant when it comes to maybe education, just whatever. And your other child is more of an artist, and artists need to move and they learn with doing and experience and with their hands, and sitting there and just learning theory maybe not translate well to them because they're, they have to be involved in something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she's more of a trying to discover herself, trying this, trying that, and Her brother and sisters, they also have an artistic side. They both draw like beautiful pictures. And yeah, my life story, it's so long, but right now I'm focused on her because she's the youngest. And my middle daughter, she's good. My son is out of the house. So,
Mm-hmm.
but the education portion, I got to figure that out. I looked at the Zayax Institute,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be something I would be interested in, of
Mm-hmm.
course, because they don't get that camaraderie with Black people here where we are in Silicon Valley.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they need it. They need it
Yeah.
desperately.
Yeah, they need it definitely because it. I would say what I've witnessed from kids that are homeschooled or they're in like a private school but like a smaller class, because I had a cousin and he was going to private school and it was like 10 kids in the class. Um, and when he was going with 10 kids in the class, he had to go to public school like his last year of um, junior high school, and he had a little bit of socialization, with and being more having more freedom. So that was a little bit, but he got over it. Sharja, I think people connection dropped off. Sharja, you what are you doing in these streets or keeping your mind straight?
Oh, I'm always keeping my mind straight. So I'm actually not off work because I'm critical infrastructure with the pipeline. But North Dakota has only got about 100 cases, 750,000 total state population. So the lockdown isn't as severe here. I know that with places like New York and California, the high population density causes the virus to spread like crazy. But out here, I'm in a town of 30,000 people, if that, right now.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I was talking to Vonda in the chat about is making some 10-day goals. So you're sitting at home. There's a project in the house that you've always wanted to do, but you never really had the time to do it. Well,
Yeah.
now is the time to get it done. That closet you wanted to clean out, make that just say, okay, I'm gonna get that closet cleaned out in these 5 days or in these 10 days. And you have to. And if there's a new habit you want to achieve, if there's a new skill you want to learn, it takes 21 days to make a habit. This is a great time to be putting yourself towards learning a new language. Hell, you don't have to be out talking to people. You can go on Skype calls with people in China and India who are quarantined the same way and learn, whether it be Chinese, Hindu, you can have discussions with people and learn skills. So let's say you've always wanted to go and learn how to work on a motor, right?
Yeah.
Well, shit, get under the hood of the vehicle. You're not out driving it now. Go and see what kind of repairs you need to do. Go look up the Haynes manual if you can online. Look up your vehicle. See what kind of things you can do to improve yourself. Don't let the time be idle time. Build skills. Because
That's
if
a
you
good
build a
idea.
skill, it won't fail you.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who want to get more fit, a 30 minutes a day calisthenics workout will do wonders, but you do it every day. And now that you're not going to work and giving 8 hours of your day, which is actually 10 hours counting travel time, to somebody else, you go ahead and take care of yourself in the ways that you haven't been able to before. Now you can cook those healthy meals. Now you can work out. You just got to apply yourself to those goals within the house.
Exactly. Anybody else? No, I agree completely and totally. What I would say with that, with that subject, wrapping up that portion of it is me personally. I think everybody and what everybody said up here, and I thank them for sharing what they're doing. Is your mental growth, your mental health is just as good as your physical health. And a lot of people, for me, I'm an only child. Like I can be around people, I cannot be around people. This does not affect me whatsoever, one iota. Like me being in the house is like not affect me at all. Like I am good.
Same
I
here.
ain't got to deal with
Same
you.
here.
I ain't got to deal with you. Yes, like I'm. But there are people like my wife. She's extroverted. She is climbing the walls right now. She is climbing the walls. She's not here. She's in England, but she's climbing the walls, and she don't know what to do with herself because she has to stop. And she's one of them people where she got to keep going. And she's the type of person that'll keep going until she pass out and get a little bit of rest and keep going. And this is making her stop. And I'm telling her, like, look, just find something to do and chill out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can call me, we'll talk. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk, and it is what it is. But but I can see the difference, and I can see people breaking down mentally. You know what I mean? They're doing things they normally wouldn't do because they're bored. But I think this is a time that we need because technology has made things to the point where we would talk to people so much that's not even in our own communities or spaces, but not talk to the people right next to us. And we've gotten wrapped up in this digital space and think it's reality. But then when you got to get what quote unquote unplugged out of the matrix, people don't know how to have social skills anymore. Where you wouldn't say certain things to a person online in their face because you would have to get punched in it. So I think this thing is resetting human behavior and a whole bunch of other things. Anybody want to speak on that?
Well, you mentioned the people that were cutting down trees and pushing the trees in front of people's driveways because they felt that other person needed to be quarantined. And this is what happens when people don't know their neighbors. If these people had been talking to their neighbors the entire time, right? You think those people would have chopped down that tree and put that tree there? But now there's an element of fear, so there's distrust. And if you can't trust the people that live next to you, then you have a sincere problem. And in today's society, how many people actually do know their neighbors? Very few.
And for them armed men to show up, they all knew each other. They knew them people weren't from around there. And if those people, and this is where we get into that thing, right? Those people live there, right? Because they had the guns. That means they go hunting, right? Yeah. So they on the island. They probably showed up in camo gear, got chew in their mouth, and we told you to stay in your house and quarantine, right? You're not gonna listen. Hey, Bubba, show them what's going down. Now, luckily, those people had a VHF radio or whatever to contact the authorities, right? So if they already have that in the house, then that means that place is susceptible to be cut off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you need one of those in your home, so it's an isolated place. So that means that everybody in that community know each other. The sheriff know them dudes. He's gonna say all the right things, but he be like, "Hey, Bubba, you can't do that to the out of towners. Come on, Bubba. Man, he out there sunbathing, walking around, going home, spreading that corona all over the place. What you think going on? We got kids and youngins around here." Like that, my bad. But sorry, I got the character. But that's what
spot on.
Anybody else got to say anything? Sorry about that.
They have apps where you can listen to police radios. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but you can look on your Play Store. I'm not a Apple person, but I'm pretty sure they probably have them on there. You can listen to your police scanners, but don't listen to it if you don't need to. It's just going to make you paranoid.
Yeah, you know what? Like, police scanners are scary, but it's when you look at the social, like how we're built socially. Now I look back at, like, if you think of this, right? Think about the bubonic plague, back in those centuries in Europe, right? Like, think about that. Like, think about all of these plagues that came through and wiped out civilization, and the fact that on the world, this thing spread it on the world level because we're commercing and we're doing things. So how is this going to affect how business is done? Like going forward. Like these are the things that I look forward to after this is over with. You know, you know, you know, human beings or not or whatever. I look forward to looking at this stuff and trying to dive deep into it and see, is this going to reset the market? Oh, are we going to get back to $5 can go, or $10 or $20 can go a long way? Because you could go out and you needed $100 just to enjoy yourself. $50 minimum per person. Like money did, like inflation was ridiculous. It is ridiculous. So is this going to deflate everything?
I
That's
don't.
what people say.
I don't think that it will deflate things. Actually, I think this will make inflation worse. Because for one, people now fear products from China. Therefore, China production is going to drop because people are going to spend the money to buy local products more, but local products come at a higher price. You can buy 20 of something from China for $1, sell each of them for $1 here. But in order to make those 20 things here in America, minimum wage is $7 an hour. So to get those 20 things, you got to pay the truck driver. I'm going to see costs going up because of it, but not in the near point, because you're going to see a slight drop because of the drop in oil prices. We're going to see costs go up because of it, but it also means that we're going to shift to more local production because people fear the impact of a virus like this, the things that we can't get from China now that China's quarantined, things we can't get from Singapore, from Thailand, from made in India, made in Mexico, because the Mexico border is shut down now.
And what I'm going to, and you're right, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Neek, anybody else come in?
I know. I was gonna agree with Chandra. I think it's gonna make the cost of things go up. Because you already see right now, like people taking advantage of the pandemic and things being sold out and people are inflating things outrageously. I think that trend is going to continue. And like he said, people are afraid to, like, if you go on Amazon right now and you search for stuff like toilet paper, they got tons of toilet paper that's going to come from China. But the stuff that we get in the supermarkets are all sold out. But nobody's buying that stuff from China.
Yeah.
You see stuff like, if you go on eBay, you see people bidding on toilet paper and they're paying $40, $50 for 8 rolls of toilet paper. Because they would trust that rather than paying, $30 for an 80 case of toilet paper from China.
You guys know there's a black company that sells toilet paper. It's kind of expensive, but it's not. You could get 80 rolls for about $40 if I remember correctly.
Hey, drop that link, Malika. Drop that
It's
link.
called Freedom Toilet Paper. Yeah, it's called Freedom Toilet Paper, and they sold out so much that it's backed up. So they're on back order because people been buying them out so much.
I'm like, this is just to put it out there. This is the time, because a lot of these places that that service our community, that are not people from our community, a lot of our people need to go, when they shut their doors, go get your license, go do the research, and go open up your business where their business was, so they don't come back. Because they're going to give them the severances, or they're going to give them the ability to come back into your community by giving them some type of reparation or some type of craziness that's going to go down, because their community is tight like that. So if you're occupying those spaces, they can't come back. They got to go somewhere else.
And in this time, one of the things I will say is that we do need to support our black businesses during this time, because our black businesses are hit harder than almost anybody else during this time. I'm gonna quote Dr. Sandy Darity from Cerulean's live stream again. Black people have 10% of the wealth of their, on average, 10% of the wealth of their white counterparts, which means that the black businesses that we would patronize, because we can't go out there, because we can't go out and socialize, we need to make sure we're taking care of our black business owners so they make it through this.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right, especially because most black businesses struggle in a normal functioning economy. So imagine what they're going through now. Like most black people will end up losing their businesses because of this pandemic.
Yep. Exactly.
And like, and as far as what you were saying, Dre, as far as setting up like a stimulus specifically for those non-black people that have businesses primarily in black communities. Like for instance, in New York, they've already set up a discrimination hotline for Asian people because the Asians were complaining that people were discriminating against them and not shopping in their stores because they were afraid to get the coronavirus.
Where's my discrimination hotline?
Yeah, we never had one of those, but they have one for the Asian people now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna open this up for 5 minutes of questions from the chat. If y'all got any questions, y'all want us to hit on anything. If anybody on the panel want to talk about something that's containing to the topic, or it don't have to be pertaining to the topic, or things that you're interested in, or and if our mods in the chat, please go ahead and drop the links to this respective channels that you are a part of, and that you support. The Ebony Star Network, the Great Regime, and gaming and so forth and so have you. If Char's there, drop your channel links and stuff like that. Please drop those in there so everybody can see those links and subscribe and share and all of that. But if there's any questions from the chat, I'll open up the floor and comments to you guys. Y'all can this is what I call just the free will for like 5 to 10 minutes before we do closing thoughts and close it out, because I like to keep these short. 2 hours. People got stuff to do. You know what I mean? Even though we're locked in, people got stuff to do.
Okay, I wanted to say something real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So another thing I wanted to touch on is the poor treatment that people are getting when they go to these hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if anyone else saw Dinus. He did a live stream about his experience when he went to the hospital. And he was saying how the doctor, after he got admitted, he told his whole story, but I just want to talk about this one particular point that he was saying. When he was in the hospital, in the bed, after he got admitted, and he was on oxygen, he had an Indian doctor. He gave the lady's name, come in and tell him he didn't need oxygen. He was fine, and turned his oxygen off as he was struggling to breathe, and told him he could just go home and be treated from home. And he said, as he continued to argue with her, like, no, like I'm here for a reason. Like I can't breathe and I could barely move around. Like how am I going to take care of myself at home? She eventually told him in the conversation, I could have security come remove you from the hospital.
Yeah, I heard about that. Wow. Yeah.
So, you got people going in and becoming critical and dying from this virus. You have doctors who are basically practicing that, the term that was deemed for it is medical apartheid, or not providing services to people. There was another video of a nurse. I don't know where she lives, but I had put it in the Ebony Star thing. But she had made a Facebook video saying, the doctors are basically picking and choosing who they want to treat. So if you come in there and they deem you too critical for treatment, they're basically just making them comfortable to die, and they're choosing to treat other patients.
You know what? When I was working in the medical field and this was in a dental office, and I used to do records and stuff all the time. We had a color coded system in that particular dental office. If you had a white folder, like with a tab on it, basically red means you was like high risk for your, needed a lot of work, right? Um, you know, green mean you were fine, yellow mean you were like, cautionary and stuff like that. But the folder that it was in meant a lot, right? So if you had a yellow regular folder, that means you was on HMO or something. So if you was at a high risk or something, it was pulling your teeth, right? Um, if you had a blue folder, right? Or like with a white stripe on it, that was like Blue Cross Blue Shield. You was good, right? They would give you the invasive procedures, save your teeth, give you a bridge, give you a root canal, all the not, right? If you had like some other type of health insurance through a company with a deductible or whatever, the dentist would give you the cheapest way of doing things, but you still had health insurance. So what would happen in the dental office, he would randomly pick out of that stack, and the stack was like bigger. He was a black dentist and he had his own practice. But what he would do is he would randomly pick 10 folders out of that stack for the next upcoming cycle per month to do pro bono work. Right now, when a doctor or whoever does pro bono work from this is back in the day, I don't know how things have changed or whatever, they would do it. They would put it in the records and it would send in and it would be a tax write-off. Right. And basically they had a certain amount they could do and how much money it was, and that's how they would do it. Now the problem in these hospitals, a lot of people, they don't have proper health insurance, right? So the people that's paying, first come, first serve, and everybody else that comes along with it behind it. Then you put that whole apartheid thing behind it because they'll automatically assume that this person, because they're white, have health insurance. So that's how when I was in the medical area, they did things. And they did them like that.
Yeah, they basically still do the same things.
Oh, okay. They
basically still do the same things. Like I had a friend of mine. Now that you mentioned dental work, right? She had to go get some dental work done, but she has Medicaid,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So she went to what we call Medicaid doctors. So they mainly get their money from Medicaid patients, and they do the most extensive work possible on you, even if they don't have to, because that's how they make their money.
Yeah.
Right. So she went to the one Medicaid doctor, and they basically told her, like you said, they wanted to just pull her teeth out.
Mm-hmm.
Like they wanted to do basically oral surgery on her.
Mm-hmm.
So she was like, "Yeah, I don't know if I really need all my teeth pulled out." She had she had a deep cavity that had turned into an abscess.
Yeah.
She went to another doctor who doesn't take Medicaid, and she was going to pay out of pocket. And they did the work to save her teeth, and she just had to pay with cash because they didn't take Medicaid. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they still do the same thing. This was just a couple months ago.
Yeah. So they still, so these are the practices they're doing, like and this is why, like, this, if people are smart, and like you said, the white palm or the fair palm people, you know what I'm saying, the white palm and the fair palm people, they're going to be in an uproar because a lot of them are going to, they're going to, what I mean, they're going to pass, because not that they can't get medical treatment, it's just that the medical treatment that they were getting, because a lot of them, they're stuck on these opioids for these conditions. Like if you look at the medical system does not cure you or nothing. It's like the biggest drug dealers is the medical system. on the United States. Like it's the drug dealers, the biggest drug dealers, or the parasites on American lives is the medical system. People do not want to go to the doctor because you'll be living, but you're pretty much in slavery. It's indentured servitude. Once you get sick and go to the doctor, you got to give up your house. You got to put out a second mortgage. You got to do free finance. You know, anything. You walk in that doctor's office, you catching all kinds of L's. All kinds.
And most people end up getting more sick from the treatment, from the, what they use to treat you, than when you were before you went to the doctor.
Yeah. Those side effects.
Right. Which is insane.
Yeah. So anybody else want to, put their 2 cents in it? And
I was gonna say, it's preventable because, again, sanitation. As soon as a CNA, LVN, or RN, a doctor, whoever walks into that room, whether it's a family member, a therapist, whatever, sanitation is key. We're seeing this now. Although there was a report that this is possibly airborne, this COVID, but it is preventable. How you sneeze, how you touch your face, all that stuff has to be very cautious around sick people. I've done the nursing school. I was a straight A student. I know exactly. I not only did nursing, but I studied on my own. I studied nutrition. I studied herbs. I have family members who are deep into natural healing. I tried different diets. So I know from experience that a lot of stuff is preventable. They're giving us these facade forms of curing ourselves, and it's really no cure. It's ridiculous. And then what nurses and doctors have to deal with on top of that, they have to deal with a lot. They have to pay for insurance. They can lose everything real quick, but not as quickly as we would think.
Yeah. And that's really sad. That's really sad that they're doing this. But they weren't ready. It's like they got caught with their hands down, their pants down, and they weren't ready, and they didn't think it was going to reach as extensively. But you're going to see a lot of border restrictions. You're going to see, like Shaw just said, it's going to be a mess to the point. But people were complaining that jobs were overseas too much. Well, they're going to come back. They're going to come back, but are you willing to do the job, right? Are you willing to sit up in that factory and go back to the industrial labor? Are you willing to be the Ling-Lings of the world that's sitting up there working and slaving at a sewing machine or working in a factory making microchips for your iPhones, right? Are you willing to do that type of labor and work? And no, it's not going to come back for you. It's going to come back for the technician, because all of that stuff is going to be automated. It's going to, and we can kind of get into that. And that'll probably be my next stream, is to get into that about what's going on. But what I would like to do is set everybody up for closing remarks. We'll go around the round table. I'm gonna bring crew back. You know what I'm saying?
Can I say one thing? Because there's something on top of my mind.
What?
I want to say one thing. So when I was in nursing school, like I said, I was a straight A student, president of my class. And all the students I was around, there was a lot of African students straight from Africa. Right. But there was also a lot of Asian students. Of course, it was predominant. Actually, the person who ran the school was Asian.
Right.
Nonetheless, these people would come to me, and I would help them because that would help me learn. I didn't realize at the time, I'm giving them more than what I should have. But after the fact, I learned that. But that's what they do. They help their people.
Yeah.
So a lot of the people who shouldn't have passed because of me.
Oh,
Wow. Yeah. I'm like hindsight 2020.
And,
Right?
and I'm not trying to be big headed, but it's just a fact.
Yeah.
It's just a fact.
Yeah. It's your experiences, and it's just the facts on how you see it. And your experience on what happened. And if it was more of us in those positions, um, you know, you're starting to see more of us get in certain positions. But you can't blame a lot of folk, because like I had a friend and she was like, they keep calling me in the hospital because she's one of the head nurses, and she said, I'm not going in. I got babies. And who gonna raise my babies when they gone? Because the hospital going to you're not going to get really nothing when you die on the job. Like somebody's got to go sue, and then and my babies ain't going to get what they need to get because no, I can get another nursing job. No, because they're not, we're not provided properly. It's not built. It's a clinic. It's not really. And I said, yeah, you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? You got to do what you
Right.
do for your family. Not you're like, don't. I said, listen. I told them, look, don't feel no type of way, and don't let them try to put you in that, because most of them people that's in there, most of them doctors running around, they ain't married. They single. They come from families, or they trying to put that on you. No, no. I said, how long you been a nurse? She said, I've been a nurse going on since I think since she got out of college for it. And I think she said she's going on, like 15, 16 years. And I said, you put in 15, 16 years of work. You know what I mean? You can get another job. They're going to need nurses. Best believe, right? One thing they ain't never running out of is nurses, pallbearers. They need them. Right? So you don't worry about it. If you got to move. Like do whatever you got to do. But yeah, you're absolutely correct. And this is
I don't know if you misunderstood me, but
Mhm.
my point being is that I would have rather passed on my knowledge to people that look like me um,
Mhm.
than the agents who I passed it on to.
Yeah,
So, because that's in the area I live, that's predominantly what is here. But
yeah.
it did help me. It helped me be a straight A student. Um,
Yeah, and that's the shame, because was it in the area that you lived in, they moved everybody out, right? They like, if you in that area, they probably moved up. They probably put them in Oakland and moved them across the bay and all this other crazy stuff. And that's where the whole gentrification stuff comes into play. Um, and I've noticed that a lot. Like I'm in Asia myself, and most of the people that are in the healthcare profession, they're coming from Southeast Asia. Most of the nurses, they're coming from Southeast Asia, because the actual the actual Japanese people where I live at, they don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. And it's a shame, um, but at the same time, I wish that there were more of us getting into the field where we used to be at, in the medical field, in the science field, all the, Black people have discovered a lot and made a lot of inventions, in the 18th, 19th, 20th century in this country, and we're losing that. And this is a chance for us to get back in it. We got a lot of brilliant minds, a lot of brilliant minds. And then we need to get back to that. Well, I would like to circle around to closing thoughts, going down the line, and I'll do my closing thoughts. And I'll start with crew. If you're there, you do your closing thoughts, and then we'll let the ladies do theirs, and Shaja will bring up the rear, and I'll do my closing thoughts, and we'll end the stream. Crew, you there?
he'll be back.
Okay, so moving on. Neek.
I just want to say thanks, Dre, for having me on. It was a good discussion. Thanks for everybody for tuning in, and hopefully, I'll be back for more discussions like this. Everybody, stay safe, stay clean. Don't do any unnecessary touching or socializing until this thing is under control because it's serious, and a lot of people aren't taking it as serious as they should.
I agree more.
That's
And
it.
hmm?
No, I said that's it. I'm done.
Oh, okay. Passing the mic over. Who want to go next?
Well, one of the things
I'll
I
go.
will say.
Oh,
Oh,
never
go
mind.
ahead. You first, ladies first.
No, I appreciate the chance to converse with you guys. It's good to know and develop a new form of family that is what I want. I want Black Power. I want B1, or I don't care what it is. To be honest, as long as we're coming together and making sense. And we already know this is one of the worst things, at least in my generation and a lot of people, that we have to tackle. But if we keep being smart about it and keep communicating, it'll only get better. Because this is going to make us grow. Um, I'm going to stop there because I'll keep going on and on.
Okay, no problem, no problem. Thank you very much for you ladies, both of you ladies coming through. Don't be a stranger. Thank you very much. We're going to give it to Chandra. Chandra, closing remarks.
Well, I'd like to thank you once again for having me on the stream. I'm a numbers guy. I like to pay attention to the math and the money. And real talk, we got to look at how this is affecting us monetarily. We got to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves physically, mentally, and we take care of ourselves fiscally, because as the panic is going on, we need to make sure that we're getting ourselves enough food, nutrition to survive, as well as taking advantage of the economic opportunities that present themselves as they go on now.
Well said, well said. Crew, are you there? Are you there? Going once? Going twice? Okay. So Crew's not here. Okay. I'd like to thank every last one of y'all for coming through. I appreciate the love and support for everybody that came through. Thank everybody in the chat, all the mods. Let me go down here the list. Please place everything, all the links to everything in the chat while I'm doing these little closing remarks. So everybody, so we can do this cross promotion on both platforms. Please like and share the stream. The Emmy Star Network, Max. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Yeah. Please place the links in there. Char Willie, the greatest mod ever. Thank you for the mods being in the chat. Keeping it down, holding security. We do not negotiate with terrorists at all whatsoever. Everyone gets a chance to talk and speak. If we disagree, we can respectfully agree and disagree. I'll try to do these streams around this time. Maybe I'm looking at a nice time frame. I'll try one in the midday. Midday for you guys, because I do it actually off of you guys' time. I can do it late night for me. I'm my schedule is kind of erratic, so I want to find a place where I can do it consistently and bring great content. So I hope everybody, if you like the stream, thank you very much. If you didn't like the stream, tell me why after the stream is finished in the comments. If I don't like them, what you're saying, and if it's disrespectful, then I'm gonna just delete them. It doesn't really matter to me. It's like 7.1 billion people in the world, and I don't have to mess with you. So that means that being said, please place all the links in the chat. Thank you very much. I like to thank everybody that showed up once again. The Great Regime, network, the people that are a part of that, Sharja, Char Willie, crew, Vonda, Malika. I hope I'm saying it correctly. I had to say it over and over again. Max, Ebony Star Network. I wish our neighborhood genius was here, Classic Ruby, because she's great at pronouncing things. I suck at it. Vonda, always in the chat. Neek, thank you once again for showing up and coming and showing your support and everything like that. This is informative. We need this as people. If I'm mixing anything, DJ Music, the LD, thank you very much for coming through. There will be tomorrow. There will be a show on the GRN network. Shar can drop that in. Shar Willie, Classic Ruby, and the brother DJ Music. They are doing their radio show. Then before that, there will be the Great Regime on the commander on the esteemed brother Cerulean Gray's channel. He will be doing his usual call to action. I call it class time for us folk. But I like to, on this panel, do a myriad of topics and things like this. We have to talk about this COVID-19. And yes, Iban Noblesse, for Black excellence. Also, no one will beg you to be great, but we have to talk about this, but in a constructive way, and to talk about it in such a way in a structure. I'll get better. I think those were too many myself. I think there were too many articles and too many topics to hit on. So what I'll do is I'll trim the fat and cut it down for time's sake, so we can discuss it, or I can, expound on it and move on. So I'm fine tuning this, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Once again, I like to say to all of you that support, please share this. I want to get to 1,000 subs. Just that's just my goal. That's just my goal, before the end of the year, is just get to 1,000 subs. I will be really happy with that, to really build and do some things like that. Other than that, I like to thank every last one of you for coming. We didn't do too bad. I'm 6 minutes over because I'm running my mouth, but I'd like to thank all of you for coming. Thank you for coming to the 1/3 show. We institute the 2/3 policy to the fullest. And we'll go from there. Y'all have a great night, I guess. It's 9 minutes, morning. So happy April Fool's Day or April 1st. Stay safe. And also stay blessed. And try to be great. Find something that you're great at. Thank you for coming through once again. I keep saying that, but really, thank y'all guys for coming through. Without the support from you and from everybody like you, and our greatest, like the Supermod Char Willie. thank her also. All right, so I'm ending the stream. Y'all have a great morning, I guess.